that the unemployment numbers are dropping from 14.7% to 13.3% as states start to reopen. Now, I want to be very, very, very clear. Those numbers are horrific, okay? By reopening, what they did was they jeopardized many of our lives. But more importantly, though, the people that are getting called back to work, they're not the very people that are out there being protested. Those folks that are out there protesting right now, many of them will not find their way back to work. The outrageous percentages of the people that are unemployed as a direct result of the virus and a direct result of a gig economy are those who are least able to afford to be unemployed. The federal government has already declared that, hey, look, jobs are coming back. There's no need for the government to spend further. Now, I don't know about you, but before this crisis hit, things were pretty freaking terrible. They were pretty freaking terrible. And now that the unemployment has dropped down to, 13.3% unemployment, okay? Most of those jobs that left, many of them, not coming back. Many of the state governments, they're going to have to furlough people come the fall when the new fiscal year kicks in. Many folks are, the unemployment stuff is not finished. It's not finished. And many of the people that are coming back in much more insecure positions. The federal government did this under Obama. They barely trickled money into the economy, and we had the longest stagnation, longest non-recovery in our country's history. It was horrible. And you would have thought by now that austerity would have been booted to the curb and we would be spending. All the indicators are out there that spending is the exact right thing to do. All the economic models have shifted and shown that deficit spending is the right thing to do. But instead, the only stimulus anyone got was one check, $1,200. And, I don't know where you live, but in many of the red states, people are going around, they've got their face masks on like this with their dick hanging out. They're not even putting it over their nose. They're just walking around, hanging around their chin. The next time, if they have to close things down, or if they don't close things down and people start getting sick again, what's going to happen then? Think about it. What is going to happen then? And unfortunately, you got a lot of people out there who listen to the Corbett Report and other crazy places that have completely written this stuff off, and they're like throwing caution to the wind, devil may care, putting everyone's lives at risk. And there are no protections for workers. In fact, because it's such a dog-eat-dog world, anybody that flinches, anyone that complains, anyone that doesn't show up, anyone that has any problems, folks, they're going to be let go. Budgets are still super tight. Many of these businesses have lost huge amounts of money as a result of the shutdown. And that money doesn't just start coming back. And with the meager amount of federal spending, no matter how much they talk about unemployment has changed, yes, there is a shift, but a lot of those companies went out of business. So we're out there protesting in the streets. George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, folks, many, many, many others that will never, ever be remembered, unfortunately. You got an anti-lynching bill going forward that Rand Paul is standing in the way of because he wants to make sure people are allowed to still push and beat each other up without getting arrested for hate crimes. But the fact is that the unemployment numbers are still staggering. This should not be the new norm. We should have zero unemployment. We should have zero forced unemployment. But instead at 13.3%, they're acting like life's good. Everything's a go. Now, folks, there are people that lost an incredible amount of money. So we're not just talking about we just pick up where we left off. We're talking about months of money not coming in, months of bills coming in, months of interest piling up. We have nowhere near seen the end of this thing. But unfortunately, the very people that are out there in the streets that are trying so hard to make change are also going to be the ones that are left holding the bag once again in this economic destruction that is right here. I mean, this rush to reopen, there was no need to do it. For those people who don't understand how the federal government could work, there's probably a need because you don't care how the federal government works. That's communism, right? You don't really understand it, so it's communism or some other thing. Oh, my God. The fact is the federal government could have kept everyone afloat through this entire thing. But instead, you're going to see even more wealth. Yeah, more wealth drain from the bottom and rise to the top. More pain and suffering, more misery. And zero fiscal stimulus, zero support for the people. As you watch the news come out, they're going to celebrate these numbers. They're going to try to use this as proof that we've got a strong economy. You're going to hear it over and over again. Millions and millions of people are going to be left behind. And it's in that specific issue that all these protests should be also coalescing around, because an opportunity like this to expose the wickedness of a system that focuses more on law and order than justice. Well, you can't have justice without economic justice. And the very people that are getting left behind have been the ones that have been carrying the weight of the world since before the Civil War. And it's only going to get worse if we don't do something about it. Please write your congressman. Please speak out. Please talk to your neighbors. This is going to be the one area that nobody wants to talk about until they start realizing how many people are really being hurt by it. I'm Steve Grumbine with Real Progressives. Have a great day, everybody.